Bill Maher recently discussed the phenomenon about intelligent people having faith. Let's talk about it. Every so often, I see a clip from Bill Maher. I haven't watched this one yet. I'm watching it for the first time with you, who is one of the most condescending people, particularly to people of faith, talking about people of faith and the Christian faith, especially in general. And again, whenever I see it, it makes my brain explode. So let's watch it together. Let's have our brains explode together. Let's see what Bill Maher has to say on intelligent people having faith.
How can so many people who are otherwise super intelligent believe in the bull that religion tells them?
Of course, man. He always says this.
How can you be a scientist and believe in the virgin birth? And so my point is that it's just never that simple.
How can you be a scientist and believe in the virgin birth? I'll let him talk a little bit more right now, but just think about that claim for a second. What is your problem with the virgin birth, Bill Maher? Well, it is not explainable by science. So how can you be a scientist and believe in something that is not explained currently by science? Even scientists would say we believe things that are not currently explained by science. They're theories, they're ideas. Now, again, I'm not saying that the virgin birth is explained by science. I'm saying that it's miraculous, and there's evidence for believing in the miraculous. That goes beyond just saying my cousin saw something at this place. But either way, even that argument is already ridiculous.
It's tempting to say, oh, you people are just stupid because you don't get it. They're not stupid. They just perceive reality differently, and everybody has gaps. I mean, I feel, because I'm me in my head, I don't have those gaps, but maybe I do. I feel like I can easily see the gaps in their logic. But, I don't know. Francis Collins is head of the National Institutes of Health. Brilliant man. I think he helped on mapping the human genome. Christian. Believes that God flew down like a dove and a Palestinian girl named Mary, and then she had this boy, Jesus, who walked on water and, raised the dead back, and then he came back to life. And I can't explain that.
I love how Bill Maher's trying to be funny and he's laughing completely by himself.
Then she had this.
He's laughing. He has two guests there and he's saying something. He's laughing at himself, but they're not laughing at him. I do want to place a quick point of emphasis, though. He says they see things so differently. They see the situation. They see things so differently. It is not religious people that see things differently as much as it is Bill Maher that sees things differently. It is atheists that see things differently. Belief in a higher power has basically always, universally, in basically every culture, been the belief. Now, which higher power is a different thing, but human beings have always come to the conclusion that there is a higher power. And so it is people in this modern time who are mainly seeing things differently. And again, you can say, well, the modern age is the best time. I don't think so. I don't think the modern age is the best time. Look at all the other stuff. And the stuff that Bill Maher decries that the modern age is talking about and believing in. Are we really the smartest we've ever been, the best we've ever been, the most intelligent, the most moral that we've ever been? No, absolutely not. So for him to say that we're the ones that see things differently, no. They're the ones that have started to veer from what everyone has always believed on this. So they're the weirdos in this sense.
And while we're still on this earth, unless AI takes over, maybe our brain soon, the people will always be that complicated.
Yeah, I think people, like I was listening to somebody talk about this, and he was a guy that was basically saying there's so many forces stacked against you in life that at some point humans inherently have to start looking to some kind of higher power just to get through the odds that are already stacked against you. So I think a lot of people look to spirituality or religion or something, one, for that extra push, but also just for answers as to how does this all, I mean, some people think there's a simulation, some people think there's a heaven, and some think there's hell. There's so many different things that people think, but I think nobody's done a good job of answering.
And that's what's next. Very analogous to our discussion earlier about medicine. Doctors are a priesthood. People are scared when they go to the doctor. Medicine is about your mortality. And you want to believe, not me, I want to hit a little differently, and I think you do, but lots of people want to believe there is this one man my doctor, who has the answer.
You're right. It's godlike.
And it's just easier. Like, I've kept a detailed log of every health event I've ever had.
Really?
Since 1975, when I was 19.
Like,
Yeah.
give me an example of what would be in that log.
Before, I don't care about the log that much. Before he talks about it, you notice that. So this guy basically says, like, I don't know who they are, but he basically says, like, people have always sought an explanation, and everything around us seems so incredibly unexplainably perfect. And this is kind of like designer fine tuning stuff, that people have always sought for some kind of an explanation. And maybe on some human level, in our desire to seek for an explanation, we realize that we don't really have these answers, nor did this stuff come up just randomly. And so therefore, we're always looking towards something. I don't know if that's exactly the point he was trying to make, but that's definitely a good point to make in this situation. How could intelligent people be people who have faith? Well, intelligent people, like people of faith, don't think that they know everything. So if you don't think that you know everything, then the idea of faith is a very plausible and reasonable thing. But if you're Bill Maher and you think that you do know everything, then why would you have faith? Bill Maher does this stuff all the time. He'll always say things like, and a lot of atheists do this. They go, "You're so smart. Why do you believe in God if you're so smart? You know so much about science. Why do you believe in God if you know so much about science?" Or they'll say to someone like Ion Hersey Ali, "You're so smart. You've argued for atheism for so long. How could you leave atheism for something like belief in God? That's kind of crazy." And what they don't realize is, again, they are the weird ones. They are the different ones. There's so many people who are falling into this almost universal consensus that this is a very reasonable belief, that there is a higher power. It's very, very reasonable. Not to mention that it is accompanied by a whole lot of logical evidence and logical concepts that make a lot of sense to explain all these things that are unexplainable to us. And for them to just say, well, and again, I love this idea. He places his faith in the prospect that science one day will be able to explain absolutely everything, that science one day will be able to give us a solid enough basis for morality that we should have that as our framework. He's putting his faith, all his eggs in the basket, that one day science will deliver for him, modern science or just the evolution of science over time. That's what he's hoping for. And there is really less reason to believe in that than to believe in the claims of Scripture. That's definitely the argument that I would make. If you differ with that, let me know. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. But the idea that intelligent people can have faith is just ridiculous. There's a crazy long list of people who are way more intelligent than Bill Maher or myself who decided to have faith, and for very important, powerful reasons beyond, well, I'm just scared of what's going to happen when I die. No. Very well thought out people in these kinds of situations. But again, let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, consider supporting on Patreon. God bless you. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.